Hello and welcome back to Thermomix. My name is Chef Martin and I've been a Thermomix user since 1994, the amazing Thermomix or TM21. Today we have the Thermomix 6, which is a real advanced machine, and I think it's one of the best machines in the world right now for domestic or commercial. All right. So today we're going to do a fabulous recipe called Ayam Golek with two kinds of spices. One is a dry rub and one we will make a rempah out of it. We will cook the rempah in the machine and then we will later roast the chicken. So do stay tuned. All right, we have a 1 kilo chicken here, as you can see. You can go up to about, I think, 1.5 kilos, whatever that will fit the varoma tray. All right, we are going to do a dry rub made out of fennel, coriander, chilli, and cumin spice, a dry rub with salt and sugar. And then later on we will do a wet mix comprising of shallots, dried chilli, garlic, lemongrass, candlenut, galangal, tumeric fresh, ginger fresh, and then of course coconut milk and pandan leaves put in. Alright, let's start to marinate our chicken with the dry rub. We'll call up our scale right here. Yes, the Thermomix or the TM6 right now comes with a built-in scale in measurements of up to 1 gram. So I have our lovely chicken here, right in there. This is our varoma dish, which you can also use for steaming. Okay. I'm going to add some of our cumin, chili powder, right, fennel powder, and coriander powder. Okay, all done. And then our sugar. All right. Sugar also gives the end product, when you roast it, a very nice browning because the sugar will caramelize. And then a bit of salt. Now I've used an average amount of salt. Should you require something that is more salty, don't be afraid to add a little more salt to the flavoring. Okay? And then we will just marinate. Alright, give it good marination. Okay. Make sure everything's in, as well as in the cavity. Right. Now, this would be best to be left overnight for the dry rub to get in. And after this, we will show you how to do the wet rub, or the rempah, as the Malays call it. So, now don't waste all that powder. Put it all in there. And as you can see, the table stays clean. All right? Everything is just right here. We are using that one varoma dish, which is also being used in our multi-layer cooking. Right? Wow, really rub it all in. Right in there. Okay, left and right. And then we will set this aside now to marinate while we create our spice paste. Okay, great. Now, let's start on our wet spice paste. We have the shallots going in, dried chilli, garlic cloves, lemongrass, candlenuts, ginger, galangal, turmeric, all fresh. Now don't worry about the turmeric discoloring the bowl. It's very easy to get off. And some oil. Okay. Let's do a speed 8. Now I always like to do at least 2 steps so that we can scrape it down a little. Let's see. In about 4 to 5 seconds, we have blended the entire spice paste. Okay, let's give it a scrape down. As you can see, in 4 seconds, a spice paste. Wow, initial stage, amazing. Huh? Let's use one of these. Okay, there we go. There we have it. All right. Okay. Now I've added some oil at the start of the blending to help get a homogeneous paste together. Okay, if you like it more fine, just do 1 or 2 more times. Okay, this is a pretty rough spice paste. That's why you get all that flavors coming up. Okay, great. As you can see, we also have a Thermomix special spatula which never touched the bottom of the table. All right, everything we have thought about just for you. So we add a bit more. Okay. Now we're going to fry this paste for about 8 minutes. On speed. And this is the measuring cup. So all you dirty is 1 jug and your table stays absolutely clean. Right, so that was the first initial stage of 8 minutes. Just to fry up the rumpa, as you can see, if you want to have a better look. All right, wow, well done. Now we're going to add in our coconut milk. Okay, for those of you who don't like coconut milk, you can always use almond milk, oats milk, etc. Let's not waste. All that coconut milk in there. Okay. And also some pandan leaf for flavor. Okay. Just a little water. And off we go. For another 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And a little faster. On maybe 2. Or 1.5. And there you have it. Simple and easy. As you can see again, you keep your tables in the kitchen clean. This is cooking out the rumpa, which normally you have to what they call tumis in a wok or a pan, and then it starts to splatter everywhere. Here is nothing. Should this splatter, just turn down the temperature a little, or you can just leave the measuring cup here to prevent any spillage. Okay, so this is the one we have made before, because of course the paste has to cool off at least overnight would be best. And now we're going to marinate the paste onto our chicken with the dry rub. Okay, and then after that we will use it for steaming. Okay. Now we will continue to baste this chicken with the paste as it's roasting later on. We will do first a 45-minute steam, again using the varoma tray. All right, so you want to keep a bit of the paste. So naturally, anything that has more time to marinate will taste better. Okay, so if you can, I would recommend doing this paste and then marinating the chicken overnight. All right, let's see. Okay, really a good one here. Don't forget, of course, the cavity and everything here. Okay. Right, that's it. So now we leave it to marinate minimum 2 hours or overnight. Okay, so now that we've had the marinades and all applied, we are going to steam the chicken for 45 minutes. Okay, let all that flavors get into the chicken and cook the chicken from the inside out. And later we will just pop the chicken into the oven for about 15 minutes at about 180 to 200 degrees, depending on your oven, for that nice little crusty texture on the outside. All right, so let's begin. Okay, first things first, let's put some water for steaming. You can also use this method to do a normal roast chicken. If you don't want to do a Ayam Golek, that means you just pepper and salt, a bit of paprika powder on a normal roast chicken. Steam the chicken. It means you cook it from the inside out to retain all the juices. That's why it stays juicy after roasting. Okay, good. Then we will put our varoma tray on. Everything's complete with Thermomix. We have the Varoma baking paper. Wow. Now some of you will say there is no hole in this paper. Won't that block the steam? Yeah, this is a porous paper for extra made for the Varoma. Okay, right there. We take our chicken and put it on it. Okay, so that's all set. Now let's do a 45-minute and speed 2. Off we go. And like we said before, everything stays clean. Chicken's in there, the water for steaming. Off we go. We'll see you later in about 45 minutes. Okay. Now, you can use a beer can. This is a clay roaster which you can buy from any of the stores outside. All right, it sits, as you can see, the chicken nicely. And then we are going to baste the chicken, the steamed chicken, after 45 minutes and cool down with the wet marinade. Okay, and we're still keeping some for another session later. Now this is easy because this will then give you an even roasting. Those of you who don't have this, you can just simply place the chicken on a roasting pan, breast side down, rib side up, breast side up, doesn't matter. Now I have done the wings behind so that the chicken sits up very nicely. Okay, right? So we will roast this at about 180, between anywhere 180 to 200 degrees, depending on your oven at home. Alright, so for this video and for this recipe, we've gone into collaboration with one of Italy's top oven brands. Alright, they actually make it for commercial kitchen, but because of COVID now, home baking, home business has become such a popular feature. We've decided to put this in a domestic setting, alright, to give you wonderful quality results. Okay, so this is the BAKERLUX from UNOX. All you have to do is switch it on. Select your preheat. I'm selecting 190 to compensate for the open door push-in chicken later on. My time would be, let's say, 15 minutes at 180. Should I require steam, I can always pick this up. If not, leave it at 0. Should I require a faster fan speed, I have a speed 2. Or for now, I would like to select speed 1 so that I don't get too much browning on the chicken. Okay, and if I want to save this parameter for future use, I just select any of the saving numbers, like say P3, and then it's saved. So as you can see, this is calling you, which means the preheat is ready. The baking temperature has reached whatever you have set. We're going to open and very casually put our chicken inside. Okay, so for 15 minutes, that's all we do. It's like watching TV. So now we watch the oven. Okay, so we've done about 6-7 minutes into the grilling. Now we're going to baste the chicken a bit more. Okay, with the remaining rempah or spice paste, as you can see. Alright. Okay, you can use a brush at home, huh? Okay. And now it goes back into the oven for a few more minutes. Okay? Now the UNOX BAKERLUX, you can fit at least 6 1-kilo chickens at one time, right? So if you have a big family, it's a really good investment, right? So you let the Thermomix or the TM6 to do everything else, and then you chuck it in here in the oven, and then it bakes for you. What? 6 chickens at one time. Wow. And no turning, no opening doors, no taking out the chicken, top and bottom trays, nothing. Do it, put it in, let it bake. Finish. And that's your chicken done, just roasting, 180, 200, sometimes if you want more, even up to 210 or so for more color, okay? Perfectly roasted, all right? All the job done between 2 top appliances, the Thermomix TM6, for all the rempas, the dry rubs, the cooking of the rempa, kitchen stays clean, pop it onto a stand or lie it on its side, okay? And then put it in for about 15-20 minutes and you have wonderfully roasted Ayam Golek. Okay, so now that's done. Let's get on with our sourdough making. Okay, let's begin with our sourdough. Let's call up our scale. Tare. Weigh out our flour. About 200. Okay. Tare. Increase our water. Now we add in our sourdough starter. Now sourdough with the TM6 is really easy. You can even do the fermentation of the starter with the fermentation mode over 6 to 8 hours, right? Without having to have another jar and then carry on with the recipe right away, right? So simple stuff. I'm putting in a bit of sugar, about 5 grams. For the full recipe, we will let you know. We will publish out the full recipe. Now this is my recipe for the crusty sourdough for Southeast Asian region so that even kids can enjoy it. So it's not really too hard and crusty, all right? A bit of salt, okay? And something which you would not normally see in a crusty sourdough, a little oil. All right? Good. Now, one tip I give you. Most people who say I go right into dough mode, what will happen when you start the dough mode right away? It will throw all the flour, the water, all the ingredients against the top of the lid. So, I let you in on a little secret where we do 30 seconds on reverse at about speed 3. Okay? So first of all, we don't make a mess with the reverse. Second of all, we're not cutting up the gluten. We're just mixing all the ingredients together. Okay? And then you don't have such a dirty pot or jar at the end. And then we start the actual kneading after this. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's call this up. And let's have a look. Wow, a relatively cleaner top. Okay, as you can see. All right. So let's call up now our dough mode. Okay, for about 1 minute with the TM. 1 minute. Dough kneading in 1 minute in the TM. Wow, amazing. Pick, off you go. And that's kneading for you in the TM6, Thermomix 6, right? Any other kitchen mixer, you would probably need at least 10 minutes to knead dough, and then here again on the table, and then everything's dirty, and yeah. Now the table stays clean, there's no flour, no weighing scale, the weighing scale is built in, the dough is ready, simple as that. Okay, so within 6 to 8 hours, you can actually have a sourdough, like if you start at breakfast, this recipe, you can have sourdough for dinner this evening. Okay, so we're almost at the end. Okay, so it's very easy. And there we have it, already knead up. Of course, for sourdough, there comes your stretch and fold, your coil folds, your lamination every 1 hour, half hour, person to person, baker to baker, recipe to recipe is all different. So that's up to you. So the Thermomix or the TM6 has already taken out that part, okay, of the initial using my hands to put all the ingredients together, everything's sticky on my face, on the table, everything's in the TM6 job, as you can see. Okay, great. Okay, so let's shape and proof our dough for the same day, or you can shape and proof for the next day. There are a couple of ways to do this. For every person, there's a different recipe and there's a different style. So from here, we're just going to do a basic shaping, which is a very simple one. Okay. Now you want to get from this to fit into this, which has an oval edge. So first, our style, or my style, is I'm going to do 2 Mickey Mouse ears and then a Mickey Mouse nose down. And you already have the initial curve, which is like the initial curve here. Okay, as you can see. And then just down, 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 down. Okay? Down, and down. Okay? So it's just 2 ears to the center, and then all you do is just down. If you are not closed, this is for very beginners, huh? So those of you who can do sourdough, all right, I'm sure you have your own style, so keep to that. This is for people who say like, how do I do a shape? How do I make it from a round into a log? And then how do I fit it in here? You have something like this. Okay, very simple one. Put a bit of flour, because then we go into a proofing, and the last thing you want to happen to you is that when you are trying to take this out later for baking, that everything sticks, and then all the proofing is destroyed. Okay, so in you go. Now if you want to leave it for overnight fermentation, longer fermentation, right now you cover it and put it in the fridge overnight, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16 hours. Or you can leave it outside at room temperature or in the aircon for about 4 to 6 hours and bake for dinner, something like that. I'm going to bake it for 2 minutes with some steam, all right? And then we're going to stop the oven. Let it rest 10 minutes and come back to it again after 10, 12 minutes, all right? Okay, temperature of 230. Okay, I'm going to call upon 100% steam and fan 2, and we start our preheat. All right, that's it. So we're going to try and bake our sourdough loaf. In the UNOX. Okay, the bread's done. Wow. And how to check that the bread is done? Should have a hollow effect. Okay? So. And we let it cool. Anywhere between 2 to 3 hours, and then after that we can slice it open, and we have a sourdough. So, sourdough bake, done in the UNOX oven, kneaded by the TM6. And that's our video for this session. Hope to see you again next time.